Hello and welcome to this week's Modern Toyfare Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Super 7 Ultimates Raphael figure. Now this video does have a trigger warning because I'm about to put an opinion out there that's probably going to ruffle some feathers. I personally do not like the old Playmates figures. I absolutely hate them as a kid. I always played with either the weird gimmicky turtles or I would play with the cartoon turtles. Those turtles were pretty much, if I remember correctly, I think they were out in the sandbox with like all the like extra toys that I had for outside. So I did not like them at all. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first thing I want to take a look at here is the box. Now, if you've been watching the show regularly, you know I don't look at the boxes too often, but this one I just couldn't pass up. The slipcover for this thing looks absolutely amazing. You've got that bright green, you've got the manhole cover on the front with the turtle head and then the size showing its Raph. You've got the back of it has the Ninja Turtles logo on it. The top has the Ultimates logo on it. The bottom of the box itself just has all the different don't eat this, don't choke on that information. When you slide this out, now it's not as impressive because I already took the figure out because I'm an impatient child and I just couldn't help myself. But you've got that big display window, you've got the green bricks going across the top, you've got the cement at the bottom that says Raph and has the turtle logo. When you turn it to the side, it does have the kind of green bricks broken throughout it, still giving you a little bit of a window. You've got like a little sewer vent down at the bottom. Flip it around the back, you've got more of those green bricks with some graffiti, Turtles logo. You've got some cowabunga down there, a little description of Raphael. And then when you switch to the other side, you've got more green bricks that are broken up with the graffiti down the side. And then when you look at the top, you've got the Turtles logo again. This box is absolutely incredible. I will say, getting it in and out of the box is a pain just because of the slanted sides though, so be prepared. Alright, so let's start off with just the general look of the figure, which you know what, I can't do it. Give me a second here. Let me get this hideous thing off of here. Let me go ahead and let me find, there it is. Let's put the correct one on. There we go. Make sure it's nice and snug. And, yeah, that's so much better. This thing is awful. Well, let's get this as far away as possible. There we go. Alright, that's so much better. Just look at that. That sculpting on this face is absolutely incredible. I mean, you've got the wrinkles in his brow, you've got the wrinkles in his mask, you've got the shading on like his snout, the teeth all are like individually molded and painted. Even the whites of his eyes really pop in his mask. And then as you kind of go around the back of his head, you'll see those wrinkles kind of go all the way through his mask, all the way back to the ties for his mask, which are a nice soft rubber, which is always great. The back of his shell, tons of texture. You've got some scratch marks in there, which is really nice. Even the elbow pads have little like nicks and cuts in them, showing that, you know, he's been up to no good for a while. The front of his shell is really, really well done. The shading, you've just got some nicks in there, kind of showing that he's you know, a little battle hardened. If you go down to his belt, at first I didn't like this, but it's really growing on me. The texture is just absolutely incredible. It almost looks like it's like some sort of like tape material, almost like a wrist tape that like wrestlers or fighters would use. And then if you swing it around to the back of the belt, like the detailing with this little holster and like the little like bolt holes, and then you've got the clasp holding it in place, like it's this absolutely incredible amount of detail that went into the belt alone the rest of the figure. As far as his arms go, in his hands, you'll see like you do have a lot of detailing. You even got like some veins in there, and then when you swing it around, you see he does even have little fingernails and like wrinkles in his knuckles, which is really cool. Now, if we move down to his legs, you'll see all sorts of. Raph does not skip leg day. His legs are ripped. I mean, look at those thighs, and even like the wrinkles near like the knee. And you get down to his feet, you've got the wrinkles in his toes. He's got toenails. I mean, look at that calf. He's just jacked. It's ridiculous. And the bottom of his feet have some wrinkles. A little disappointed they didn't have peg holes. Be kind of nice because, you know, make it a little easier to pose him in certain ways, like have him on one leg. But you know what? This figure's still incredible either way. They did an absolutely amazing job on this. Alright, so next up is going to be the articulation. So we're once again start with the head. He does go 360 degrees all the way around, full exorcist. Does have some tilt to the left, tilt to the right, and then as far as up and down, we do have a lot of up. You can get that classic cartoon Turtles look up pose. Not so much with the down, but it is what it is. When it comes to his arms, they do go all the way out 90 degrees. I will say his joints are a little tight. The bicep swivels. The elbows are single jointed, which is kind of disappointing, but they do have a little bit of a swivel to them. So if you pose it just right, you can kind of get it to go around. And then the wrists are a little difficult because the peg is so tiny, but they do go all the way back, all the way forward, and then 360 degrees all the way around as well. And then if we move on, he doesn't have any sort of like ab crunch, but he does have this kind of hip swivel. So you can kind of, you can see it a little bit there. You can turn it around, you can shift it all different ways, so it definitely gives him a lot of range for like his lower body of what you can do. The legs do go out 90 degrees. You do have both hip and thigh swivel. The knees are single jointed, but again, you do have the rotation, which gives you a little more option. Not as good as having double jointed, but it's still pretty posable. All the way forward with the feet, all the way back. Just, I mean, even the like rocker on this, like you can turn his foot almost completely sideways both ways. Like you could have him laying on the side of the street in your display like he fell and broke his ankle. That is crazy. So overall, some lacking in articulation, but pretty good. Okay, so on to the last thing, which is accessories. Now, I know a lot of people are nostalgic for it, but here's the alternate head, the old Playmates one, some great detailing, but I don't like it. Get rid of it. I hate the old Playmates figures. Next, we do have the brown weapons rack, which again, very nostalgic for some people who loved those figures, not for me. Moving on, more importantly, to the alternative hands, though. So the first set I'm going to show you are his kind of more open hands. You can use these as kind of like pointing or doing like a karate pose, holding size, holding his pizza, all sorts of different things. Some great detailing went into those. They look really, really nice on the figure. Next up, we're going to do, he does have alternative like gripping hands. So this first set, it was pretty obvious what the difference was. The peg rocker goes more side to side instead of forward to back. Let me see if I can, because they are very tight and the peg is very tiny. So you can see it kind of goes, gives you a little more motion so you can have him almost like pointing his sai at somebody while still holding it in like a normal fist. And there's this last set of hands. Now these ones confused me at first because they're pretty much identical until I realized there's a little hole. And what that hole is for is you can fit his sai inside of it. So you can get that like his sai between his fingers pose, which is absolutely incredible, and it works really well. And here's how it turns out. Like, I am super happy that we got this set of hands. It took me forever to figure out why he had so many gripping hands, but it makes a lot more sense now that I figured that out. And I may or may not have figured it out 5 minutes before recording this. You'll never know. Moving on, though, next we're going to talk about some of the weapons. So we do have his sais. These are the alternative sais. These ones are more shiny and they're a little soft and rubbery. Now, mine came pretty bent up out of the package, and I've had a hard time getting them to go back into a good shape. So I kind of been not using them. Here they are next to the normal hard plastic ones. I do feel like the metallic looks better, but the hard plastic is just so much nicer, and it just kind of, it doesn't look all warped. Next up, you have this weird like knife scythe thing. Great detailing and a nice wash over the wraps on the handle. And then we do have this little like handheld like spiky stabby bit. I don't know. Maybe it's used to climb walls or something, because realistically the only way he can hold it, it'd be kind of facing out of his palm. So I'm not a ninja. I don't know what these are called. I'm sorry. Next up, I do know what these are. These are throwing stars. They're pretty thin. They're nice hard plastic. They have a little hole. That hole actually does go a little bit over his finger if you finagle it right, so you can have him kind of balancing it, which is pretty cool. Then we have this almost, it looks like a grappling gun, but it's not. It's more of just like a handheld knife, and it does kind of have a cool extension though, because it can fit into the little accessory pack on his back, and it just looks so cool. So it'll probably never leave that spot in any of my posing, just because of how nicely it fits in there and how nicely it looks on the figure. Next we do have his pizza, and they did a fantastic job. Like, look at this. I mean, you can see just the cheese melting off of this pizza. Not to mention, like, those pepperonis pop. The crust looks nice. Like, this is probably some of the best action figure pizza I've ever seen, and that's pretty sad. Now we do go on to the turtle phone. I do like that they went with more of a red than the normal yellow. It definitely kind of gives it a different look, and I like it. Then we'll do the open version, and this one is absolutely incredible. You still have that nice red, but then you've got the purple with all the buttons and the screen. On the back, you've got some molding, but nothing too crazy. It's just painted black. But man, this thing looks really, really cool, and I think it may be my favorite accessory that he came with. It's definitely just the detailing on it. It almost looks like he has his own little like Game Boy. I just absolutely love it, and I can't wait to pose him with it. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for this week's Modern Toyfare reviews. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to get notifications for when our videos go up, hit the little bell. We have Modern Toyfare news on Fridays and Modern Toyfare reviews on Mondays. If you enjoy the figure photography at the end of this video, please check out our Instagram or our Twitter at Modern Toyfare. Tons of pictures go up every week. If you would like to support the channel, hit the little link below. There is a TeePublic store that has our logo along with all sorts of different designs I have. I have masks, shirts, mugs, pillows, phone cases, all sorts of stuff. So if you take a look, I greatly appreciate it. And make sure to check out our giveaway currently going on. It gives you a chance to win the NECA Ultimate Metalhead. We talk about it regularly on Modern Toyfare News. It's also pinned on our Twitter, and I share it relatively often on the Instagram page. So make sure to check that out so you don't miss out on the chance to win. And hopefully we will see you next week, same toy time, same Toyfare channel. Thank you for watching.